Let us discuss about RTOS, its tasks and task states in this video. So basically RTOS is an acronym for real-time operating system. It is similar, it's a special case of embedded system that you have. Obviously we have discussed about the difference between embedded system and the general operating system. General operating system, it's more general in nature, whereas embedded system is more specific in nature. And in this case of real-time operating system, specific in a sense, if any of the of course the word itself tells you real time, so basically it is associated with a time deadline. It is always associated with a time deadline, and that is what you have a timing constraints here. Means any of the tasks that you have to do it, so it has to be completed within this amount of time. Of course real time operating system, of course you have majorly you have hard real time system and the soft real time systems. Hard real time system where deadline, if the deadline is not met within this amount of time, then it will result in some catastrophic it will have some catastrophic results. Then whereas with respect to soft real time systems, if the deadline is not met also, it is tolerable to certain extent. Okay, so of course it the nature of the deadline will decide the type of the real time operating system, and this is beyond the syllabus that we have it, so we will not be touching all those things. But one thing what you have to understand, the RTOS is always some time is associated with that one. That is what is RTOS. Of course in RTOS you have like tasks here. Task means a set of instructions which are there to get executed. That is what you mean by task. Executions or set of instructions which have to get executed. So set of instructions, what we call it as tasks. Okay, so basically the microprocessor decides any of the work which has to be done, if the work is allotted to different tasks. Let me say some T1, T2 and T3. So this is what it divides. Okay, so and this has set of instructions which have to be completed, set of instructions, and this has set of instructions. Now of course if we just look into this one, any of the task in the processor, it could be in any of these states. So state is the nature of those tasks. And what is the nature of the task? What are the different types of nature of the task that it could be in? For example, the task could be in the running state, the task could be in the ready state, the task could be in the block state. So what is running state? Running state, basically any of the tasks that is picked, let me say T1 is picked, those instructions are getting executed. So this instruction, so they are picked up by the microprocessor. So if T1 is picked up by the microprocessor, or processor, then we say that means those set of instructions are getting executed. So then we say that the task is in the running state. Then when do we say the task is in the ready state? The task means it is still not picked up by the microprocessor. When it is still not picked up by the microprocessor means it is waiting to get picked up by the microprocessor. Okay, it has all the resources, but the microprocessor is not ready to pick it up. Means the microprocessor is not free because the microprocessor is running some other state. So the difference between running and the ready state is, in running state the microprocessor has picked up the state and picked up the task, and the task is getting, the set of instructions in that task, they are getting executed. Whereas in the case of ready state, the microprocessor still has not picked up the task. Okay, so the microprocessor is still not picked up the task, means the microprocessor is busy. So whenever the microprocessor is busy, then means that task T2 is in the ready state. So whenever some task T2, okay, for example if I say T2 is in the ready state, means that some other task is getting executed by the microprocessor or the processor. In this case actually T1 is getting executed by the processor. So T2 keeps on waiting to be picked up by the processor. Then what do we have? The block state. Block state is, let me say T3 is in the block state, means it is waiting for certain event to happen. Okay, see one thing what you have to understand between difference between ready and the block state is, ready it is not waiting for any event to happen, it is just whenever any task is in the ready state, means it means that the processor is busy. Okay, so whenever any task is in the block state, it means that processor is, it could be busy, it could be free also. See, in this case, processor, whenever processor is busy also or free also, let me take free case only. When a processor is free here, which means that still, because it is waiting for certain event to happen, even though processor is free, this task won't be picked up by the processor, because certain event has to happen, then only it will be picked up by the processor. What could be the example? Say for example, something event like you have to push the button. You have to push the button when some external interrupt you get it. So whenever any processor receives the external interrupt in the form of pushing the button, when the button is pushed, then only something has to get some work has to be done. For example, if I press the button, the tank has to be filled up with the water, okay, or the motor starts running so that water actually comes into the tank starts getting filled up. So so the processor, I mean that task, those set of things what you have to do. For example, filling up the turning on the motor. When will the motor get turned on? The motor will get turned on only when person pushes the button. When a person doesn't push the button, then the motor will not get turned on. There is no use of that one, isn't it? So if you have a set of instructions to turn on the motor, turning on the motor depends on the pushing of the button by the person. Okay, when the person pushes the button, then the processor takes that interrupt. Then this task 2 which was waiting for that person to push the button, so that external event has happened. Then your task is picked up by the processor. Okay, so whenever actual system is in the running state, which means that those set of instructions are getting executed. Whenever the system is in the ready state, which means that the processor has already picked up some other task, so this task has to keep on waiting to be picked up by the processor. It is ready, it is not waiting for some external event, but it is waiting for some, because it is waiting for some other task to be finished by the processor. Got it? Now what is this one, the block state? The block state is, it is waiting for some external event to happen. Okay, maybe something interrupt, or majorly it is that one only. Some event should happen. Okay, maybe some software delay you have given, so you just keep it that in the waiting state. So then it doesn't have to do any kind of action. You see, in this case, block, whenever task is in the ready state, means the processor is not at all free. It is always busy. It is busy in executing other task. Whenever task is in the block state, it means that even the processor is free. Okay, this processor could be busy or processor could be free also, but the processor, when processor is free also, then this task won't be picked up by the processor, because it gets triggered only when some event happens. Only when event happens, it moves from block to ready state. Okay, so here it is waiting for some external event to happen. That is what you mean by block state. When that event happens, then only that that task waits for the processor. It doesn't wait for the processor. This, whenever task is in the block state, it doesn't wait for the processor. It is waiting for the some external event to happen. When that external event happens, then this task is ready to picked up by the processor. Then that depends. If the processor is busy, then it will not be picked up by the processor, means the task will be in the ready state, means it has got all the resources, even the event has happened, at that time it is in ready state. But when the processor is free and the external event has not happened, then also this task, whatever T3, if it was in the block state, that won't be picked up by the processor. Okay, hope you all got this difference, running, ready and block. That is what it has been written here. If you just observe here, see here, this is okay. This is block state, this is ready state, this is running state. How the interaction between these different task states happen. See, if you just observe, a task T2 before actually goes into the ready running state, okay, it is always in the, before it bits, the task is in the ready state, means it is ready to pick up by the processor whenever the processor becomes free. Okay, say here you can have like different whenever one thing what you have to understand. See, whenever some task is picked up by the processor, which means that it has some priority. Okay, if for example T1, T2 both have the interrupt the processor at the same time. If T1 is having the higher priority and the T2 is having the next level of priority, I mean its priority is lesser than the T1, then T1 will definitely picked up with the processor, then it will be in the running state. So let me say T1 is in the running state here. Now T2 actually, which was having the priority, or which is having the priority lesser than the T1, so definitely T2 will be kept in the ready state here. T2 will be kept in the ready state. That is what you can see here. Now whenever a task, that is what this is the highest priority ready task, another ready task is higher priority, means the change of priority of the task. See, whenever some task is finished, okay, then it will be, the next priority will be picked up, okay. So as you can observe here, what we have is that this is like what I was discussing, ready and the running state. So here whenever any of the task is in the running state means, or another task is kept in the ready state, like I said earlier, this T2 is in the ready state and the T1 is in the running state. So T1 is having the higher priority than the T2, that's why T1 is getting executed and that's why it is in the running state. T2, since it is having the low priority, so it has to wait for the completion of the execution of the T1 by the processor, then the T2 will be picked up. So this is what you mean by here, that's what arrow is showing here. So this is the highest priority ready task, means highest priority ready task, that's why it has been taken by the microprocessor and is kept in the running state. And another ready task is higher priority, but it is not the highest, means it is the task is having the lower priority than the another task which is having the higher priority more than the low priority task. So that's why that task is kept in the ready state. Now one thing what you have to understand, this is the transition. So transition between different states here. So this let me write that one. So transition between different states. Transition between different states. Transition between different states. See, what you have to understand from this one is, who is going to decide about the transition between different states? There is one algorithm, of course, the main handler, what we say for that one is, let me write it here, scheduler. Okay. So scheduler keeps track of the state of each task and it decides which task should go into any of the state, particularly running state. Okay, the scheduler actually decides about that one. For example, scheduler keeps track of different states of each task. See, the task could be in the block state. Same task T1 could also be in the block state if that has to wait for any event to happen. So the running state, it can go to the block state. That is what you have. If you just look into the diagram, you have the transition, and the transition of the task between different states is looked up by the scheduler. Okay, so scheduler, it just looks into the states of the task, what state each task is in, and it just decides which task has to go into the running state, because finally the task has to be in the running state so that the task is picked up by the microprocessor for the execution. Okay, microprocessor just picks up the task, whatever the task is in the running state. If the task is in the block state, it will not be picked up by the microprocessor. If task is in the ready state, it will not be picked up by the microprocessor. If the task only when it is in the running state is going to be picked up by the processor. But who actually puts all these tasks in different states? That is put up by the scheduler. Scheduler actually maintains a record of states of different tasks. Okay, so in this case, actually, if we just look into this one, any of the tasks it was in the running state. For example, let me take this one only, T1. So in T1 actually it is having the higher priority, so set of instructions are getting executed. When certain set of instructions are getting executed, if suddenly actually it has to wait for some event to happen. When it has to wait for some event to happen, it can go from running to blocked, because there is no use until that event happen. It has to keep on waiting. Then what is the point of actually keeping the task in the running state, so that other tasks which are in the ready state, they will not be picked up only. So if the task from the running state which is waiting for some event to happen, when it is kept in the block state, then definitely some other task which was in the ready state can be picked up by the processor, can be okay only when it is a running state. So the scheduler moves that task from ready state to running state. For example, let me take this one only. T1, earlier it was in the running state, it was having the high priority. Now T1, it has to wait for some event to happen. When the T1 has to wait for some event to happen, then what the scheduler does? Scheduler actually takes this task from running state, moves into the block state. That is all, because task needs something to happen before it can continue. That is what the transition. Whenever the T1 has to wait for some event to happen, then there is no point keeping the task in the running state. So it moves that task from T1 to block, from running T1 from running to block state. Then the processor actually picks up scheduler does that one. Scheduler which was where like T2 was kept in the ready state, and it is not waiting for any event. It is just actually waiting for the microprocessor to pick up. Okay. Then scheduler, what it does is that since running state, then there is no task which is in the running state, T2 it will pick it up, and T2 it will move to the running state. When T2 is picked up and is moved to the running state, at that time what happens? Now microprocessor will pick up this T2, and T2 gets start executing. T2 starts getting executed. This is what happens here, isn't it? So T2 starts getting executed. So T2 starts getting executed because there was no task in the running state. This is what I said earlier. So whenever any of the task is in the ready state, means the microprocessor is busy executing another task, because the task was in the running state. Now since no task was in the running state, because T1 was waiting for some event, T1 gets blocked, it goes to the block state. Now scheduler picks up the T2 task and put up in the running state. Now microprocessor will pick up the T2 starts getting executed. So that's what happens here. Now let me take when can actually go from this is what, see, of course ready to running depends on the priority, as well as whenever task, of course now because this was waiting some event to happen, then it will definitely pick up this task and then put up in the running state. Now one more thing, block state, when CAD can go to the block state? Whenever actually tasks that whatever the task was waiting for some event to happen, that event happens. Now T1 actually, just remember, now let me actually continue here. So earlier we kept T2 in the running state because T1 went to the block state. Now assume that T1 some event happened. That event, that occurrence of the event will result in T1 to go from blocks to ready state, because now it is ready. Now it is ready to picked up by the processor, because it has some event has happened. It has got all the resources. Now what it does, it goes to the ready state. When it goes to the ready state, now what happens, that you have to understand. Now T1 is in the ready state. Now what is in the running state? T2 is in the running state, isn't it? T1 is in the ready state. Let me write this one. T1 is in the running state. Now T2 is in the T1 is in the ready state. T2 is in the running state, isn't it? Now who is having the high priority? As I said earlier, T1 was having the high priority, T2 is having the low priority. Let me write this one as high priority, 2 as low priority. Now what happens is that since T2, which was of course which moved from ready to running state, because T1 was blocked, then some event happened which T1 was waiting, then it goes to the ready state. Now T1 is having high priority. Now what this does is that high priority will preempt the low priority task T2, that is T1 will preempt the T2. Now what happens here is that T2 will move back to the ready state, T1 will move back to the running state. Now T1 starts getting executed, it gets picked up by the processor, starts getting executed. Who does all these transition? That is done by the scheduler. So scheduler is a big like a task manager who does the movement of the transition of different states among the tasks, so that processor comes to know what is the position of the, or what state each task is in. Okay, in this case you can just observe how T1 moved from running to block, then again to ready, then again T1 preempted T2, so T2 went back to ready, and then again T1 went into the running state, got picked up by the processor and start getting executed. So this is what happens with respect to transition of the states among the different tasks. Okay, of course the transition of the task into different states. Now let me take one very crude example. We will not go too much into details of this one. Just underground tank monitoring system. This is basically you are monitoring the tank. So monitoring the tank. Of course, this R is missed here. Underground tank monitoring system. So you have this main function. This is with respect to the button task, and this is with respect to the, you have this one, let me say T1 task, and this is T2 task. Okay. So this T1 task, it waits for some task to, it waits for some event to happen. What is that event? The user pushes the button. So T1 task waits for some event to happen. That event is a user pushing the button. Whereas in this case, actually what you have, the task T2 calculation of the level. So calculation of the something calculations you do it in the tank monitoring system. That calculation could be the measurement of the level of water in the tank, or measurement of time. At what time, maybe at different times you have the, if a water is kept pumping into the tank, then at different time instance you will have different levels of water in the tank. So maybe let us take those two measurements. So just actually you are doing different measurements, a pseudo code. We will not actually go what all you do it here. You are measuring the level of the water in the tank. You are measuring at what time you have what is the level of the tank. So here actually this is like waiting for some external event to happen. Whenever some user pushes the button, then I just want to measure at what is the level of the water in that particular instant of time. Okay. So here you have T1 is having the high priority, T2 is having the low priority. That is what you have in the C. This is the main function. First you initialize the RTOS. See, you tell the RTOS about the task. So this respond to button is having the high priority. That is what I said earlier. T1 is having the high priority. Then this is the calculate tank levels. This is T2 is having the low priority. So T1 is having the high priority, T2 is having the low priority. You just start the RTOS. See, this V button task, another function that you have. While true, you just actually block until the user pushes a button. So T1 will be in the block state until user pushes a button. Whenever actually user pushes a button, then only T1 will move to the ready state, then from ready state will move to the running state. Now V level task, low priority. So low priority, so what happens? Let us actually do calculations keep on happening here. See, for example, now see, you have like a block state, you have a ready state, you have a running state. Now since user has not pushed a button, now your level task that is T2 will be kept in the running state. So T2 will be kept on getting executed. So these are the set of instructions that you have it here. So when the set of course, it's a pseudo code. So what are the set of instructions you could have it here? You are measuring the level of water in the tank. So measurement of level of water in the tank. Then at time also, maybe I am measuring the time also. At different time instance, what is the level of water in the tank? So that is also you are doing. So those all things keep on getting calculated. So keep on getting calculated. One thing what you have to understand is that, of course, these keep on getting calculated, but you are never going to display that one. So that you have to keep bear in mind here. Okay, as I said earlier, so these things the measurement are happening. So what you have to bear in mind is that the measurements keep on happening, but they are never displayed. They never displayed, because maybe whenever actually here you are going to do, whenever user pushes a button, you just actually display the calculated results. Here results are getting calculated, and those results will be displayed when the user after user presses the button or pushes the button. Okay. So T2, since now it is in the running state, it keeps on getting executed. Now imagine actually user pushes a button. when a user pushes a button, what happens? Whenever actually user pushes a button, since which is having high priority, in this case T1 is having the high priority. So now whenever user pushes a button, that external event will trigger. So now, okay, so earlier T1 was in the block state, T2 is in the running state. Now user pushes a button. Now from T1 state it moves to the ready state. Okay, it moves to ready state because of the occurrence of the external event, that is user has pushed the button. Now what happens when it goes to ready state? After the user the movement of the task from block state to ready state, now what happens here is that since now T1 where it is in the ready state, now T2 where it is in the running state. Since T1 is having the high priority than the T2, now T1 what does is that it preempts the T2. Now T2 is kept in the ready state, T1 is kept in the running state. So reversal of the states of tasks happen here. Now T1 comes to the running state. Now maybe you might have written some program here, we will discuss that one later on, maybe to measure the time at what instance as well as the level of water in the tank. They get updated. Here the calculations keep on happening, you keep on updating the registers. Those registers actually they are put up in the variables. Now you take those variables, then display the result. So at each this is what you get, real time updation of the data. So whenever user pushes the button, then the corresponding calculated results like the level of water in the tank as well as the at what instant what is the level of the water in the tank, those calculated results you get from the V levels task function, then you display it in the V button task function. Okay, after user pushes the button, if user doesn't push the button, then you keep on calculating the results, but you don't display that one. Okay, so that is what is just a very simple example, the underground tank monitoring system. Okay, so like you have like different two tasks, and then this is you assign the high priority. This is the way you do it. Okay, this is what it has been written here. See, for example, in this case actually first V level task is there. This is the time instant. A V level task, the task T2 is picked up here. Okay, so the V level task is busy calculating while V button task is blocked. That's what we discussed here. T1 is in the blocked and T2 is in the running state. Now whenever user pushes the button, RTO switches the microprocessor to V button task, V level task is ready. Why does that one? Because what happens here is that of course there is a movement that you have to understand here, that V level task actually moves from running state to ready state. What happens? That's what we discussed earlier. T1 after the pressing to the button, this goes to the, of course it goes to the ready state. After ready state it goes to the running state. T1 goes to running state. Down T2 what happens? Because of the low priority it goes to the ready state. Earlier it was in the running state, now it goes to the ready state. So and after user presses the button, RTO switches the microprocessor to V button task. V level task is ready now. Now V button task does everything. So whatever the results that were getting calculated at this instance of time, that is picked up and then that is displayed. Okay, that is what it those set of instructions which are there in the V button task, they get executed. After those set of instructions they get executed, next what happens is that again V button task, okay, that is what happens in the end. Now after V button task, this is after ending of this one, okay, after this gets over, set of instructions in the task V button task get over or they get executed. Now what happens is that again it has to wait for some external event to happen. So what happens? V button task finishes its work and blocks again. RTO switches microprocessor back to V level task. Of course we didn't discuss this one in the last slide. After this, that is what it has been shown here. Now V button task, the calculated results are displayed. After the calculated results are displayed here, this gets over. Now this task gets over. When this task gets over, next what happens here is that V button task finishes its work. So it finishes its work. This is what happens here. T2, as you can just observe here, okay, after this is what T2 from running state, sorry, T1 which was in the running state and T2 which was in the ready state in this one. Yeah, now this is, see, T2 is in the ready state and T1 is in the running state. But after the completion of the T1 task, that is V button task. Now again it will go from running state to block state. It will go from ready to block state, sorry, running to block state, from running to block state. Okay. So after it goes from running to block state, that is T1 task. That is, if I have to say, T1 task is V button task. Whereas what is T2? This is V level task. Okay. Now, and this goes from because it has completed its execution, those set of instructions which were there in the button task, like displaying the calculated results. Okay. Calculation is happening in the V level task, displaying the calculated results happen in the V button task after user presses the button. So our user has pressed the button, now where the results have been displayed, there is no point in actually waiting, because it's now in the block state, because it has to keep on waiting for the user to press the button. So there is no point to keep T1 task in the running state. So what happens? T1 task, that is V button task, is pushed to block state. Now V level task, that is T2 task, now it is picked up by the from the ready state. Now this goes to running state again. Okay. So this goes to running state, from ready state to running state. Which task? V level task, that is task T2. That is why it has written here. V button task finishes its work and blocks again, and RTO switches microprocessor back to V level task. So just back, switches microprocessor back to means V level task, that is task T2 goes again from ready state to running state. Who puts all these things? Scheduler. Scheduler is a task manager who manages all these things. So that microprocessor decides, it just actually sees that one, what task is in running state, those tasks it just picks up. Okay, but scheduler does all these things. Of course, scheduler is assigned by the microprocessor only. Now this is how actually after that one again V level task in the ready state, sorry, running state. So it keeps on again calculating the levels as well as the time. So it keeps on doing that one, but the updation will not happen. Only updation, the displaying, that will happen only when the user presses the button. Updation will keep on happening, means updation means the calculation. The calculations keep on happening at every instance of time, but the result, whatever that you got in the V level task, the displaying in the, which happens in the V button task, that will happen only after user presses the button. Okay. So this is how the transition between different states as among the different tasks happen. And so this was a very crude example that was taken, and this is how, of course, these all things are managed by the scheduler, and this is what with respect to the transition between different states among different tasks, and how the, and of course what all different states you have. And one example was also taken, the underground tank monitor system, to see that how the different tasks move among different states. Okay. So this is with respect to the tasks and task states. So we'll discuss about the tasks and the data in the next video. Okay, fine. Thank you.